Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to make the Kids Sheila Everyday Tee by 5 out of 4. I'm going to make a Halloween shirt using this Let's Go Ghouls panel and coordinating stripe from Raspberry Creek Fabrics. This is going to match the Halloween outfit that I made for my daughter. It's a very, very quick and easy pattern. So if you want to see me sew it up, stick around. Okay, so here's our pattern. Now because this is part of the basics line, it doesn't have many options. So there's a top length, a tunic length, and a dress length. The only option for the neckline is a crew neck, and then it has short sleeves, quarter length sleeves, and long sleeves. Okay, here we have all our pieces cut out. We have our front bodice, our back bodice, our neckband, and our two sleeves. I did go ahead and press everything so that the wrinkles are out, and I also pressed my neckband in half as I usually do. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so step one is to take your front and back bodice and put them together at the shoulder seams. And then you're going to sew each shoulder seam at a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Okay, our shoulder seams are sewn. The next step in the tutorial is to sew the side seams because they show an inset sleeve, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put the sleeves in first because it's faster and easier. So you're going to grab your sleeve. Oops, the bodice should be right side up so that you can put right sides together. And I have to find which sleeve matches the arm side here. So I have the back of my sleeve marked with 2 little notches. So if I were to place this right sides together with the bodice, the back of my sleeve would match the front. So I know I need this other sleeve. And the center of the sleeve is also marked here with a notch as well. That is in the pattern when you're cutting it out, so it's super helpful. So you'll match the center of your sleeve with your shoulder seam. And I do always like to make sure the shoulder seam is pressed toward the back when I'm pinning and when I'm sewing. That way it's just feels a little bit better on the shoulder, I think. So you're going to pin your sleeves to your arm size. Once you have both sleeves pinned, you're going to sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance and repeat with the other sleeve. Okay, so we have our sleeves sewn in, and if you hear a beeping noise in the background, I'm sorry, the batteries in one of our smoke alarms are dying. Okay, so what I just did is off camera, I pressed in a memory hem on both the bodice and the sleeves. The hem on both of these is 5/8. I forgot to do that earlier when I pressed everything, so I just did that now because that's going to make hemming very fast and easy. So your next step, if you're following what I'm doing, is to put everything right sides together and to sew down your sleeve and your side seam. Okay, if you're a beginner at sewing, I definitely recommend this pattern. It's very, very fast, very, very easy. There are not a ton of options on it because it is a basics pattern. However, the tutorial is very detailed And they did that on purpose for beginner sewists. You know, it's very descriptive and very helpful. So if, you know, you don't understand, or let's just say if you're not used to, you know, sewing a shirt like this, that tutorial is going to be super helpful for you. So you're pinning all the way down your sleeve and your side seam. And I am going to hem this shirt, even though I typically don't hem, because my son's 4.5, so he's getting to the point where the things I make him might possibly fit him again next year, so I just want it to be a little bit nicer looking. We'll see if it actually does fit him next year. I made a size 5. He still fits in size 4, so we'll see. Okay, so here it is pinned. Again, you're going to sew down the entire length with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. If you did press a memory hem, just make sure that those are unfolded. So we have our sleeves and our side seams sewn up, and we're almost finished. The next step, you could either do the neckband next or the hems. I'm just going to do the hems because I already have everything pressed. So let me get this turned right side out. And I think I'm going to use this orange color since it's a Halloween shirt. I'm going to hem with my cover stitch. So all I'm going to do, it's going to be super easy because I already pressed in that memory hem. I'm going to cut these off because I like them to be out of the way when I hem. And stripe matching, by the way, I typically don't bother with it. I don't really care. I know that bothers some people, but not me, especially for a kid's shirt. Okay, so all you do is just press that hem under. Again, it's already pressed for you, so you don't have to worry about measuring or anything like that. Just press it under and hem. You can also hem these in the flat, so you can hem the bodices and the sleeves while the pieces are still flat before you sew up the side seams. That is very easy, but I don't love the look of that because then when you sew the side seams you have a serger tail here, which you then have to finish. But sometimes I do that for my daughter, at least with the sleeves, because she's 18 months, so hemming a very tiny sleeve like that is a pain. And also, you know, she still grows out of things very quickly, so sometimes I will hem sleeves like that for my daughter or for a baby if I'm making a gift. But you do whatever you feel comfortable with. Even these sleeves, again, this is a size 5. These are pretty tiny, so it's just a pain, in my opinion anyway. Okay, so once again, I'm just pinning everything. I really don't even have to pin because everything is pressed, but I just like everything to stay put where it is. And then once you have everything pinned, go ahead and do the hem. And once again, the hem for both the sleeves and the bodice is 5/8. And while I'm over at the machine, I'm also just going to go ahead and quickly sew my neckband together. So unfold my memory crease, put the short sides, right sides together, and then sew that up with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. We have everything hemmed. Our neckband is sewn. So last step is to sew that in. So you are going to fold your neckband in half, wrong sides together, and quarter it. Make sure that your raw edges match up. And then quarter your neckline. Remember, your shoulder seam is not a quarter point. Very important. Okay. Once you have that quartered, you're then going to place your neckband on, right sides together. I like to put the seam in the back of the neckband. Some people do it at a shoulder seam. That's personal preference. Just match up your clips. And then you're going to sew it on with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and you're not going to stretch the bodice. You're just going to stretch the neckband just until it's even and flat with the bodice. So it shouldn't take much stretching, just very gentle stretch. Don't overstretch it, then you'll stretch it out. I'm going to sew that on, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we sewed our neckband on. The next step would be to top stitch that with the seam allowance pointing down. That is optional. I'm going to skip that. And we're all finished. I'm going to finish off my threads with some fray check, and I'll be done. Here's the back. Very cute. Alright, so that's it for this video. Thank you so much for sewing along with me. Please leave a comment below and let me know what other patterns you'd like to see me sew up. And as always, thanks for watching.